Ready?
Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast, episode 20-10. And we are your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Fried. Cream tomatoes.
Fried cream tomatoes.
How's everybody doing? Wait, you can't answer that because you're listening. But text us how you're doing. Let us know. It'd be great to know.
Text Purnell to 5543.
1212.
Cast your votes now. No, we are a video game music podcast. We listen to great video game music of all consoles and all generations, and
timelines.
Occasionally timelines.
When the tech works.
This is not one of those episodes. In fact, Purnell, I have a surprise for you.
Is it time travel? Did you actually fix the tech?
Think back into your past, Purnell. Someone who meant a great deal to you.
Santa Claus.
All right, now listen to this voice and see if it rings a bell.
Hello, Purnell.
Satan.
It's been a long time.
Crap! No! I know this looks bad. Look, I know I requested that Garbage Pail Kid. I know I requested Messy Tessie. I know it was hard to get her, and I appreciate that, but please give me more time. I can't be reaped yet. I have things I need to do.
Sounds like you need Satan be gone.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Ed Wilson of the VGMbassy, the prime VGM minister, and Purnell's, fourth grade geometry teacher.
Apparently the Crossroads Demon.
In the Crossroads Demon.
We'll
get my Garbage Pail Kid.
I don't have the accent to be a Crossroads Demon, but I'm honored to be here as always, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, thank you. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well. We have a cool little show, the cool little theme that I just kind of came up with. I think it was a shower thought one day. I was like...
Yeah, tell us more about this.
Yeah, so, we're doing SNK fighting games.
No. You start over. You got to tell us the brand of soap you use.
Yeah, go back into the shower. Start there, and then slowly work your way out.
Would I use anything but Suave?
There it
really?
Is. Now we're talking. That's stuff.
You are what you wash yourself with, right?
And how.
And you are what you eat.
Suave it is.
That's why I'm an Irish Spring. Laddie.
And I'm not fully clean unless I'm zestfully clean. But anyways, I was listening to some music, and randomly a really good track came on, and it was from an SNK fighting game, and I was like, oh man, Rob loves fighters. And I like fighters, and Purnell likes music, so...
Purnell will fight if needed.
Purnell will back me up in a fight.
Let's get together and do an SNK fighting game episode. So I contacted you guys, and you were like, yeah, let's do it. So here we are.
And I was like, I better get back in the gym for this big upcoming fight or whatever.
For like 6 months ago, and then it was like, oh, how about this week now? How about next month? How about next month? I gotta tell you, man, between the holidays and our anniversary episode and our 200th episode, all the events that we've been doing, my scheduling is just way out of whack. I'm looking forward to things slowing down a little bit. So,
well, as we get towards the holidays, I don't know if that's going to happen, but we can always cross fingers.
If anything, I don't think slowing down is going to happen for a long time.
No, I guess not.
The busy doing nothing.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about the VGMbassy and what's happening there? Like, what are the latest ambassadors that you've received?
Yeah, absolutely. The VGMbassy is going strong. We're in our second year now. Episodes are crawling up into the 40s and the 50s, so we are really cranking along. We've got, let's see, who's been on lately? Gene from Pixelated Audio just came on to do a second volume of our Metal Gear Solid series.
I gotta say, I love Gene. Actually, I love both the guys from Pixelated Audio.
They're awesome dudes.
Excellent guys.
And Gene is a walking encyclopedia of all things Metal Gear Solid. So if you're a fan of that series, check those episodes out. You'll learn more than you ever needed to know about Metal Gear Solid. Let's see, I've had Dan Lawton on. He's been a big contributor to the VGM scene as of late. He's really into challenging games and speedrunning and beating really hard stuff, so he joined me for that.
That episode was definitely up my alley. Got to point that out. I was like, oh, right, it's like vinegar and water getting hacked together. I got to hear this.
Yeah, I got to say, Daniel's got a great podcast voice, too.
Yeah. No, he was great, and I can't wait to have him back on again. So
Yeah, no, he's been a good friend of this show recently. I agreed to help him with some game stuff, and I'm doing some music for a podcast he's doing with his wife, I think. So
yes, and I'm going to be editing that for him. So
I'm not
that's another
kidding.
kind of VGM collaboration going on there.
I like
so.
how we find out, like, kind of around the way. We're each helping somebody else.
I'm going to listen to it.
You'll be guesting.
I don't even know what the topic is yet. Like, hey, this show is about, foreign policy.
I think it's
Turn down those tons about that. Come on
I think
over.
it's parenting.
Yeah, it's going to be about parenting.
Oh, that'll be hilarious. Yeah, I'd be a great guest for that show. When my kids are really acting up, I figure just give them more candy, because eventually they're just going to get so sugar rushed, they're just going to collapse, and that's
Perfect.
a good night's sleep.
They'll just grow immune to it.
They become immune to sugar.
But for our listeners, go to the VGMbassy, VGMbassy.com for more information about that. It's a great show. I really enjoy listening to it. You have a much longer format than we do, because you go like every 2 weeks.
Right.
So you're able to really get deeper into things and listen to a lot more music, which I think is really great.
Yeah. And I do have something new that I'm working on that I'm going to tease at the end of the episode, if that's cool with you guys.
Is it limoncello?
It might be a new podcast, so
What?
Is it about
keep
limoncello?
tuned in. It's not about limoncello, even though I love
jeez.
limoncello.
Ed will learn how to ferment podcasts if he could. He's done everything else with the podcasts. Now all he has to do is turn it into alcohol.
My wife actually made her own limoncello, and my son is named Logan, so we called it. Well, I have two sons, Eddie and Logan.
Oh,
so
did you call it Logancello?
We called it Crazy Eddie's Logancello. Yes.
I like it.
Oh my gosh! So tomorrow we're recording this the day before Thanksgiving, and tomorrow is the day that a lot of us like to eat until we feel sick.
Except for me, I'm eating like a mouse.
I'm proud of you.
I'm not, but I'm going.
He hasn't done it
like
yet.
a mouse. I got teased at the gym for. It's like, come on, man, eat. I'm like,
Yeah, you need the calories. You're crashing right now.
yeah, but that'll pay off later.
Just focus on the turkey and less on the stuffing. Get the protein and not the carbs. You should be good.
I'm hoping for fried catfish, man.
Sounds delicious.
But anyway, the limoncello is because when I have in the past eaten too much, my aunt provides an aperitif. Is it aperitif?
I don't know what that is, man.
It's an after dinner shot of hard alcohol that helps to settle your
Oh, I got it now. Booze.
Exactly.
stomach.
Booze.
But yeah,
Schmoozing and boozing.
I don't usually drink a lot, but on Thanksgiving I will have a couple and feel nice and toasty and warm because it's going to get a little cold.
Like a cinnamon bun.
Like a cinnamon bun.
But I do have
I
to
don't know why I
ask,
said it
though.
like that.
I got to ask since we're on the topic, even before we even get to the topic proper. So, since we're talking about Thanksgiving, what is your typically most anticipated table occupant in the food variety?
Wait a minute. So a guest that we're going to have?
No, food!
Oh.
Unless we're going to talk to food. Which I'm fine with. I'm fine with that.
Sweet potatoes for me, for sure.
Okay.
I love sweet
Okay.
potatoes.
For me, it's always the stuffing.
All right.
Stuffing with gravy on it. It's the best. Can't get enough.
Oh, you probably like a gobbler then, for sure, then. If you've never had one, you have to find a place up there that sells them.
Did you just say that you look like a gobbler?
No, you probably like the gobbler.
Oh, like the
because
gobbler.
it looks so much like him. No. No.
I think it's a
It's
sub.
It's a sandwich, yeah.
Is it regional? Is this like a Philly?
It's
thing?
regional,
never heard
but
of it.
it's gotten around. It probably goes by other names in other places now.
because here it's called the Bobby.
Yeah, it started as the Bobby. Wawa refers to as the gobbler, but it's generally the same premise.
Oh,
which is
Wawa's
like,
got their own thing.
yeah, it's all pretty much the same thing. It's basically
it's
like
their Bobos of Bobby.
yes, and it's still like what?
Bobby Bobo.
So it's turkey, stuffing, gravy. I want to say mashed potatoes. Wawa will throw sweet potatoes in theirs too.
Okay.
Cranberry sauce
Okay.
on a roll. Basically, that's a sandwich.
Yeah. Think of
Yeah.
like all of your Thanksgiving leftovers into a giant sandwich.
Right. Around here, it's just called a Thanksgiving sandwich. Even if it's like the middle of July and you're getting one, they still call it a Thanksgiving sandwich. So I guess the gobbler hasn't made its way up here yet.
Yeah. Around the Philly area, we have to have like cool names for everything. Like this is the Jimmy. What is it? It's pickles and fried catfish.
I would eat both of those things. I'm fine with that.
So
name.
do you like both together?
Yes.
You would eat a Jimmy Gobbler?
A Jimmy Gobbler?
Yes. I would definitely. I don't know what that is, but yes, I'd eat it. As long as it has catfish in it.
Oh my gosh, what is the show about again?
Boom.
It's about starting at dinner time. All right, so our episode today is all about the music of SNK Fighters. So not just the music from fighting games on the Neo Geo, but SNK developed fighting games on mainly the Neo Geo.
If we're
Correct.
lucky.
And I think we've all picked music from across the ages of the system, because the Neo Geo system was around for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
During when everyone was doing 3D games, Neo Geo was doing like huge, beautiful sprites. When people were doing like VR games and people were doing like all sorts of like ray tracing, Neo Geo was doing huge, beautiful sprites. You know?
And I still get my love of the system too. Literally every year, once or twice a year, I end up going to a Neo Geo celebration event and just play Neo Geo games all night.
And I know, like, you started doing this, and like you're like, oh, I gotta go out tonight. I'm gonna be out all night long. I'm like, oh, that's right. You have like you and a bunch of like Neo Geo enthusiasts. It's for hours and hours all night long just play Neo Geo games.
Yeah, last time I went, I got home at like 5:30 in the morning. I was like, well, time for bed. I still got it. Except I totally backed into like a mud mound and like packed my exhaust with mud.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Got a little stuck.
I was in the middle of the highway at like 20 degrees with a freaking screwdriver digging mud out of my exhaust pipe. Oof. It was great.
Oh, man. I felt really bad for you because how late and cold that night was.
Oh, yeah. But now it's a story. That's the beautiful thing.
Right, now,
crappy things happen. Yeah. It sucks at the time. But once you're through it all and you're not concerned about lasting damages to your vehicle, it's a cool story.
Like the grandkids are going to love this one.
There was that one time my car exploded on the highway, and oh my God!
Oh, there was one time I forgot to get an ice scraper, and I was like 19, and so my car got covered in ice and sleet, and I had to get a credit card and like scrape off the ice with a credit card. That was great. That was a good night, everybody. That's what you do when you're a dumb teenager.
All right, you learn your lessons the hard way. You made me think about it. I think it'll be funny for this. And it ties into Dan Loudon's show, even, if he wants to just randomly use this story. So when I was a child, I was a dorky kid who thought he was smart. I was smart-ish. And on one winter day, it got rather icy outside, and I thought I'd be a nice son and clear all the ice off of my father's Oldsmobile. I cleared all the ice off of his car with a shovel made of metal.
Oh, no.
Dad comes home from work, and I'm like, Dad, I cleaned your car for you. And he goes to the car, and now that all the snow had been melting a bit better, so you could see the actual surface of the car, there was just like these slashes. I destroyed his car with that shovel.
Oh, my God.
And I am amazed that I'm alive right now because he actually didn't get mad. He somehow held it back.
Oh, he was so proud that like you were just trying to be helpful.
I was like, "Do you like it?" And he's like, it was so bad. Because looking back on it, I know he was really upset, but he was like, "Thank you, son. I appreciate it." He ended up having to replace the car within like a year or two. Like, it was really bad.
I like that story, and it makes me think about moving to the West Coast. All right, so let's get started with some music, and we'll tell some more stories. So as is our tradition, we like to start with Ed. Ed, will you lead us in prayer, say what you're thankful for, and play some SNK music?
Absolutely. I am thankful for Terry Bogard and all of his amazing Fatal Fury games. And so we're going to start off with a track called Sunrise on the Train from Garou, Mark of the Wolves on the Neo Geo. And this one is composed by Masato Horiuchi, Yasuhiro Naka, Akihiro Uchida, Okan, and Q Jiro.
Hi.
Did not bother me. I said I'd go to another store. But then I realized that my wallet was home, and I had no money to get more. What? I don't know
Guitar.
what I'm gonna do now.
Wow, that saxophone.
Hey, this is really, really good.
This is Sunrise on the Train from Garou, Mark of the Wolves.
Is that how it's pronounced? Garou!
Look, don't question my pronunciation.
Garou!
I am on point. It's Garou, Mark of the Wolves. And who was that composed by again?
It's composed by
because my-
Masato Horiuchi, Yasuhiro Naka, Akihiro Uchida, Okan, and Kyujiro, the famous Kyujiro.
Kyujiro. Yeah, this is like, I mean, Purnell immediately started singing because this is straight up classic rock.
It really
But
is.
like late 80s, early 90s rock era where there's a lot of saxophone.
Yeah, it really reminded me of like Blues Brothers. You can
Yeah,
definitely see them
yeah.
rocking out to something like this.
Like whoever out there does typically sets up like VGM karaoke events. Take this track and save it right the heck now, because oh my god, this thing is begging for something.
Oh my gosh. The saxophone is so synthetic that it's impressive, you know? Like they're pitch bending and they're stretching and but
Yeah,
it's,
but the guitar samples are really good. So
Really.
you get this kind of like weird combination of really authentic sounding guitars and really fake sounding saxophones. Like I wish that like SNK would have just like emailed these guitar samples to Capcom when they made Mega Man X and been like, here, get rid of your guitar samples and put these in instead.
Well, I gotta admit, the Mega Man X, for what it was, it's still pretty iconic faux guitar sound.
I guess.
full guitar.
Not exactly my cup of tea.
So
but-
we should talk a little bit about the Neo Geo Fighters. So the Neo Geo system is a 4-button system. So in the wake of Street Fighter 2's immense popularity, lots of companies are out there trying to also make their mark and be like, hey, we can do fighting games, we can capitalize on this craze that's happening right now in the arcades. But instead of 6 buttons on all their machines only had 4 buttons. So that is a big a mainstay of SNK Fighters.
Wait, so SNK, the arcade units were already out before Street Fighter 2 came out? It's just they didn't have fighters at the time?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So and then as they kept making the games, they only had 4 buttons. Like they never expanded the buttons on the CADs. Another big draw of these games are the sprites are always almost always very large. The art style is very specific. If I knew more about this or cared to do research, I would probably know the artists' names, but it's very specific. And a lot of the games, specifically with Samurai Shodown, the camera would zoom in and zoom out at specific pivotal moments, and to also enlarge the playfield.
Okay.
So that's what you get a lot with SNK Fighters, and also for people who play a lot of fighting games, a lot of these games are built on what we call rushdown gameplay, which is all about getting in really, really fast and getting that first hit in, and then comboing from there. It's not about playing defensively and parrying and waiting for your moment. It's all about just jumping in and being really fast about it.
And it's funny, too.
I love that.
because,
I love
I'm,
that.
Like, I'm not good at fighters, except for, like, very few. Like, rival schools I was always a beast at. But for the most part, I'm not good at fighters. So whenever I end up playing with these guys who do all their SNK fighters, they all just kind of bleed together for me. Like, I'll just choose a character who seems weird or fast, and just, like you said, just rush them. Speeds, like sprint, jump, come in with a low rushing punch, and just start kind of combo wherever buttons make sense. Like,
That's what I love about like these SNK games. So like you can hit forward twice on a lot of them. It's just like a short hop or a dash. It's like a run. Like
Yeah,
a
you're
straight up
going
like a
for it.
run. Yeah.
Yeah. From a technical standpoint, like all the Neo Geo games are basically arcade boards, like housed in plastic.
Yes.
And the awesome thing about the system is that most other systems, they had to compress all of their files and then uncompress them on the fly while you're playing the game. With Neo Geo, everything was uncompressed, so there's no like decompression. So that's why everything is just so fast, and why the system lasted for so long, because they found ways to just fill the system's memory with like tons and tons of sprites that can move really, really fast. And that's what made it so good for fighters, is that you didn't have to worry about extra, computational cycles in the background while your characters were running around and doing moves on each other, and why all these backgrounds, like, I know on the Rhythm and Pixels live stream, you guys have some backgrounds from Garou that are like animated, and so you'd have these really cool animated backgrounds that like were far surpassed anything you'd see on like Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat.
Definitely.
And then these really nicely well animated characters running around in front of it. So the whole game just looks like a work of art.
Of course.
And that's like a trademark for all the later Neo Geo stuff.
Of course, that work of art came at a cost, because woof!
Yeah, those things were expensive. Although I mainly played Garou on the Dreamcast when that came out on that system, and I sold that for a pretty penny, let me tell you.
So for all of our
Yeah.
younger listeners who know of the Neo Geo, but probably aren't familiar with just what we're talking about when we say woof, we're not talking about the mark of the wolf, though we could be, depending on what you're looking to buy.
Right.
But if I remember correctly, you guys can correct me if I'm off on this, I want to say the console was $600, and each game ran 200 to 300.
That sounds right to me.
Because I remember like that thing where it was like a whopping one kid in another neighbor, because sure as heck wasn't mine, who actually owned a Neo Geo, and he had like 2 games for it, and he still was treated like royalty. It was ridiculous.
And those are the kids whose parents handed out full candy bars on Halloween.
Exactly.
Full bars.
Every 5th bar was wrapped in a $5 bill that would make you sick because you almost eat it.
Well, I remember when Garou came out, and I was surprised that it was still on the Neo Geo. Like, I was amazed that because this was at a time when I was playing Third Strike, and I was playing like Tekken and all these other games. So, but Garou's amazing. Terry Bogard is older in this version, and he looks really cool.
Actually,
So at the beginning of the game, he kills Geese Howard, who's like the big bad from the whole Fatal Fury series. And there's like a little cinematic at the beginning of the game, and he drops Geese Howard off this cliff, and then he looks over, and there's this little kid who ends up being Geese's son, Rock Howard.
Oh, yeah.
And so he basically trains him. Like, there's this like training montage as the intro to the game of Terry training Rock Howard how to fight. And so the game starts when Rock Howard is like old enough to enter fighting tournaments himself. So he's kind of like the son of Geese Howard is the main protagonist in the game. It's pretty cool.
Now, one thing worth looking into, that we can always come across later in the episode, is when exactly they stopped developing games for Neo Geo. Because I feel like I keep coming across games like Poochie and Meow. Like, that's a game I always play when I go up to that thing. I had never heard of it until that event, and I think that may have been one of, if not the last produced Neo Geo game. But I'm almost positive it came out in the 2000s, which blows my mind. So I'm genuinely curious of like when they finally stopped releasing Neo Geo games, because that system was powerful enough to run over multiple generations.
Oh yeah, and I think the developers played to its strengths too. Again, with the uncompressed memory, but I think that they just knew the hardware. The developers, they developed a lot of puzzle games, a lot of fighting games, a lot of beat 'em ups.
Oh yeah.
So like maybe they just knew the market, and it was also like the operators, they could buy those CVS, CSV.
CBS cabs. I said CBS cabs. I'm pretty sure it's not this. I'll remember it later.
I forget, but the cabinets essentially had just a Neo Geo system inside of it. So either it was a CD system or it was...
Oh, the MVS.
MVS, thank you. MVS. CVS is where I would go buy Band-Aids.
Yeah, I got locked onto that acronym and never walked away.
I know, me too. But you could put the cartridges in the system. So it was as an arcade operator, it was relatively inexpensive. So they would end up charging a lot less for them. All right, so I'm going to start with my first track. I'm actually going to go away from the Neo Geo system and go to the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Yeah, buddy!
Yeah, this is from the King of Fighters R1. This is Cool Jam, which I think is the theme of Iori Yagami for the Neo Geo Pocket Color by the SNK Sound Team, which is Haya, Takushi Hiyamuta, Usako, Marimio, and Ashi, who is Hideyuki Ashizawa.
And needs lotion.
And needs some lotion. listening to Cool Jam from the game King of Fighters R1 for the Neo Geo Pocket Color, composed by the SNK sound team Takushi Hiyamuta, Yone, Yusako, Marimo, and Hideyuki Ashizawa, known as Ashi. I think it has to do with a lot of these different composers probably originally composed the tracks for some of these characters from the original titles. Now, the arrangers could have been the original composer or another composer, but it's kind of hard to tell because they weren't always credited on the soundtracks that were released. A lot of the times, all you see is credited is the Shinsekai Gakyoku Zatsukiden, which is the SNK sound team, or the New World Music Performance Group, the Neo Geo Music Performance Group. So a lot like a Falcom sound team, a lot like Zuntata for Taito. You'll just have to guess who did what. But I love this because I love funky chiptune.
This
Absolutely,
sounds
love a good
like,
groove. Yeah,
it sounds like it would have been like appropriate for like an ice stage. So I like the fact that it's called Cool Jam.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is kind of cool, like an icy track. Icy.
Well, Takushi Hayamuta is the guy that did what was it? Like Neo Turf Masters and Metal Slug and Undercover Cops. So a lot of that really funky chiptune stuff. So he might be the composer that originally wrote this tune because it really sounds like his kind of stuff.
You said Hayamuta, you said?
Yeah, Takushi Hayamuta.
Oh, okay, cool. And maybe he was first on the credits as Haya!
Yep, that's his name. He did a Super R-Type on the SNES too.
Okay,
Really,
I
really good
love
stuff.
Neo Turf Masters. I never played that. You played that?
I play it all the time. I actually, again, that thing I was at, of course we had to have a tournament in it, and of course I had to be Young Hero because it's by far the dumbest name that you could ever give a golf character. What do I do? His name is Young Hero. Like, everyone else has like some like pseudo names or whatever, but he is literally Young Hero, and I can't even wrap my head around that. It makes you want to write an entire story for Neo Turf Masters. Like, maybe he is the hero. Maybe this golf course is under siege. You have to take out the tech and all those names. It's not their actual like play styles. It's actually their code names for the secret organization with the technician.
Maybe his parents had expectations for him to be this big hero, and he was like, "No, I want to play golf." And his parents were like, "But that's not what your name is."
He's your name is Young Hero Turtikov. What are we going to do?
I love that. He's like, yeah, no, you're supposed to join the military and then become like an elite member of like this secret government organization, but then like go off and like do your own thing and then like take missions for like a UN. I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a story, but I'm really bad at improvising.
And he's like, "No, I just want to wear plaid pants and a little fuzzy beanie on the top of my head."
But that's the thing, though.
Secret agent golf man.
This turned out to be the best of both worlds because he's actually on a secret mission. He just didn't realize it when he got to the course. He was there to play a game, and it turned out that there was dangerous, devious stuff going down, and they brought him on board immediately. Wait a minute, is that Young Hero? Perfect timing. You're on the mission. You're being drafted.
Now, Neo Turf Masters is a fast-paced golf game. Is that right?
Not really. If anything, it plays like any typical arcade golf game or like a Mario golf type game. The only difference is, I think the music that we're typically used to hearing in the game gives the impression of it being pretty fast because it's got energy behind it, you know?
It always reminded me of like Hot Shots Golf, but in sprite form.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, those style of games, all those arcadey golf games, that's the thing that ends up sticking around, so everyone tries to mimic that style. It's very, very rare that we'll come across like the semi-style ones now, like Tiger Woods. In fact, I want to say Tiger Woods is like the only game in town for sim golf.
Oh, wow.
Everything else is arcade golf.
Semi ones. Yeah, absolutely. I used to play like PGA Tour and stuff like on my old like 386, where like you would have to draw the screen really slowly. And you'd hit the ball, and then it would just disappear, and then it would just be green, and then it would draw a tree. It would draw a tree.
Oh, yeah.
It would draw like a...
And you'd want to move 3 degrees to the left, and then it would have to draw the tree,
Yeah.
draw the tree, draw the tree.
Yeah, we're very spoiled now with the 3D technology that we have built into our systems. But man,
and Motori Sakuraba hitting those golf course link tunes, like play speed golf and Mario Golf with him pushing you down the course. Oh, you're going to motor.
Absolutely.
I love him.
All right, so Pernell, what is your first SNK fighting game track?
Well, I think I'm going to go with this one because given that you picked track you did, I think it's a perfect companion to that. And I'll talk about why in a few minutes. That track in question happens to be from the game Neo Geo Battle Colosseum. It is the theme to the antenna stage, composed by the SNK sound team. And to what I could gather, I came across info saying Yasumasa Yamada was the head composer for this project, so I just went with that.
I like it. I like it. I like a man who takes charge, Pernell.
Well then, let me tell you about the way that I go about spackling my kitchen.
All right, we'll talk about that, and we'll come right back.
So the most important thing about all of this was the fact that throughout the entire process, I had to keep telling myself, you can do this, man. You can do this, because I was just consistently having issues with grout and issues with Dassy, just trying to keep this entire process underway. I wasn't getting it evened out at all. It was just it was a very annoying ordeal. But, you know, in the end, what was important is that I accomplished my goal. I was out of money, and I told people who told me I couldn't do it to suck an egg. And it was fantastic.
But I think the important thing is that you showed everybody.
That's
you showed
right.
everybody who didn't believe in you that
That's
you
right.
can remodel your kitchen.
That's right, baby. It's the only way to get down to
are we still talking about kitchens?
Yes.
What is going on?
The SNK Battle Colosseum kitchen, that is. This track is from the antenna stage from SNK Neo Geo Battle Colosseum, composed by the SNK sound team, and with Yasumasa Yamada as the head composer. So why did I pick this track, not just for the show, but also right now? Well, two things. One, track is a freaking banger. I mean, anybody disagrees with that is just wrong, and I'll tell them to their face. I love this track to death, and as you guys refer to it as the B section, that is the section du jour for me.
That lead guitar comes in, and it, oh man, the back of my neck, goosebumps, Bruno.
There are some squeedlies and meadlies in that one for sure.
Untitled Goosebumps.
Super good. That was super, super good.
And the second read.
Oh,
There's a second read. So,
you were fixing your kitchen at the time.
right, you see, it reminded me of that time. Even though I don't play a ton of fighters, and I'm not really good at a bunch of them, that doesn't mean I don't play them at all, and it doesn't mean I don't have favorite characters. And this track was chosen because one of my favorite SNK characters is in this game.
Oh.
This is where I learned of her existence. Maybe the only game she's in now that I think about it. Her name is AI. Maybe pronounced I have no clue.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'll look her up. You keep talking. 'Cause
So-
I think I know who you're talking about.
She is a cool character because she is one of those things I like to make fun of, where she's like a 16-year-old like government agent or
Oh,
something.
that's not who I was thinking of. This is. I think she was only in this game.
Yeah, she has a backwards cap, cool clothes, and she fights with a Neo Geo pocket color. That's her weapon. It is amazing. She summons Tetrabinos
Oh, that's
and weird
adorable.
like video game characters to fight with her on the screen.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Well, would you like to learn more about AI?
yes,
Okay.
because I know little.
She is 17 years old.
Okay, I was off by 1 year.
She was born in Neo Geo world
Of course.
in New Japan. She is an agent of Federative Government of New Japan. Whatever that means. Okay.
Okay.
Now the important things are her likes and dislikes, so
Okay.
that when you go on a date with her, you know.
And
like,
she
where to
better
take
like
her,
Neo
so-
Geo Pocket Color.
So she likes homemade games, gaming centers, and rare ROMs.
Okay.
Okay. She doesn't
my kind
like citations and losing to a perfect victory.
Okay.
So you have a lot in common there.
Yeah, and for those that are listening, she was 17 when this game came out, which means now she's like in her like late 20s, early 30s. So there we go.
Oh, when you think about a restaurant, her favorite food is a fatty salmon.
I would eat that.
Her best sport is bowling,
Okay, I'm terrible at bowling.
and her fighting style is New Japan martial arts with her customized Neo Geo Pocket.
That's awesome.
I'm
I
sure she's the
love
only
this.
practitioner of that martial arts style.
That is insane.
So this is an official like profile put out by SNK for the character.
Probably, I'm looking at the SNK wiki, which
Okay.
to me, is the Bible.
Yeah, they probably. I mean, not that they probably got off. You know, you used to have those splash screens on arcade games
Yeah,
where we just
yeah.
saw the character's picture and a bunch of text on the right.
So
It might
she-
have come from that.
So she was only in Battle Colosseum. She had a couple appearances on mobile games, and she had a cameo in Maximum Impact 2. Right.
Yeah, but
And
that
this
character.
is the only time that I've ever seen a video game company acknowledge the existence of ROMs, which
Yes.
is really neat and weird.
He's legit, man.
Dude, it's
Guess so.
It's Neo Geo world. New Japan. They are just weird by definition, right?
Yeah, but just imagine the game where you're fighting like a typical fighter, like think like King of Fighters, basically. But as you're fighting this character, she's like pushing buttons on this thing, and all of a sudden a freaking L block just appears above your head and drops
I
down.
love
You're like,
that.
what the heck is that? You know, when the first time I saw that character, my friends like, you want to play fighters? You want to play a fighter? I'm like, I don't want to play fighters. But then I saw her, I was like, I'll use that character indefinitely. That's the only character I played with in that entire game, and I had fun with it. I made it work.
All right, Purnell. Thank you for this track. Thank you for introducing I to us
You're welcome.
before E.
Except after C.
I was before E, the Ed. So we're on to your...
Unless it, I mean, it was important. I
brilliant
before
segue,
E,
sir.
except after C, unless it goes nay like in neighbor or way.
oh, I didn't know that one.
Wow,
I
that's
learned
me
it from
too.
Disney's Tailspin, which is probably on Disney Plus right now.
Oh, yeah, I want to watch that tonight. Oh, I saw Darkwing Duck on there. I got to start mainlining Darkwing Duck.
I am the spoon that has been sneezed on for your soup.
Okay, I'm going to say something that is like the most, old guy with no kids thing I've ever said. That I saw Frozen for the first time like a week ago.
Wow.
That's understandable. I still haven't seen it.
Oh,
Hi-yo!
there you
Go
go.
Team Ed Burno! I haven't seen it.
It was all right. It was a lot of singing.
I don't have any plans to either.
It was a lot of singing. So
And a living snowman for some reason.
yeah, you gotta have something like that. Anyway, Ed, your first pick, if you please.
You mean my second pick?
Your second pick of
From the game Frozen Colosseum.
first one.
God.
Elsa's theme.
Else,
This is Let It Go in SNES format. No.
Super Ice Combo finish.
Actually, we're going to go brand new with my second pick. So this is Finn of Invincibility, which is Halford's theme. This is from Samurai Shodown 2019, which is so new that it's on the PS4 and Xbox One and hasn't even been released for the Switch yet, but it's coming soon. Lots of credits for this one. Sound producer was credited as Masato Horiyuchi, and then the composers Hideaki Asanaka, Mayuko Hino, Naoki Kita, and Minori Sasaki, and then Akihiro Nakazawa and Daisuke Mori from North Sound, and Kensuke Inage and Jun Hoshina credited as samurai musicians.
As opposed to PC.
It's like a whole football team worth of composers.
I love that. They're the samurai musicians.
Samurai musicians.
I would have loved to have been there for that recording day,
Gonna compose music and save the day.
This was Fin of Invincibility, Halford's theme from Samurai Shodown 2019.
I guess that's what people are calling it. That's what the kids are calling it.
Yeah, by a slew of composers. We'll just start with Masato Horiyuchi, and then we'll just you can refer to the liner notes of the podcast later on. But wow, you and Purnell are like just destroying the show with excellent music.
That's right.
And just dropping bombs. Love it.
It's a rockin' show too. We've got lots of hard rock going on. This one I picked because
You got geodes.
ever since the Bushido Blade 2 soundtrack, I've been a really big fan of like hard rock mixed with traditional Japanese instruments.
Yeah.
And this one just connects on that level and sounds so good.
Well, it opens.
There's so many different parts. It's crazy.
It opens with like you can really hear the that kodo, that Japanese like stringed like traditional instrument.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a kodo, and it's like going, and everything's mixed, so that's just as loud as the guitar. But that's second again, the B section. With that lead guitar and the melody and then that harmony, it's incredible.
And honestly, I feel like between this and the visuals, they came back with Samurai Shodown in a huge way. Like, have you both seen it in motion? Like, I'm gonna wager you did, Ed, because you described that one character. But have you seen it in motion, Rob?
The game, yeah. It looks
such a beautiful game.
It is gorgeous. Like, I mean, Samurai Shodown like has always been always looked amazing. When I was a lot younger. I would only ever see Samurai Shodown at the beach, like the beach arcades.
Yeah.
And sorry, the microphone keeps like drooping. I gotta tighten it.
Well, he needs an ibuprofen. His back's giving out.
Yeah, it's like, I think maybe it's time to
thinking about Thanksgiving dinner.
Maybe it's time to retire the
pop of that fried catfish microphone.
It's time to retire the mic boom. But no, I remember seeing it when I was a kid at the beach, and every time I was like, I love Street Fighter, but this is a game where you actually fight with weapons. And it always like blew my mind, like how quick the matches were, and how like you had to really think about like when you were going to attack, when you were going to run away.
Your statement just made me think of two things. One, I always, as much as I love playing them, I always kind of laughed at the idea of like weapons-based fighters, primarily because of the fact that you have these guys with like Blaze doing like 5-hit combos, and the girls like just gets back like, oh, that was nothing. I'm back to fight. Like, dude, you just got freaking murdered multiple times in one fell move.
The more and more they make the Mortal Kombat series like realistic with like realistic models and stuff, the more I'm like, no. You just can't rip the guy's heart out and be like, no, he's fine.
You don't even wait for that. They'll be like, they'll punch the guy in the face, have that close-up with his skull cracking, but it's not a finishing move, so he's like getting right back up. He has no skull. His head should be just caving in on itself.
I think eventually, like later on, when I first played Bushido Blade on the PlayStation, was when I started to really appreciate like the idea of really quick, fast gameplay. Like fast meaning like games could end very quickly.
And I'm glad you said that, because that was the second thing I was going to bring up. Was it makes me think about and want a return of Bushido Blade, because it didn't get a lot of love back in the day.
Oh man, I love that.
Because people didn't like it for the exact reason you just stated that you did like it. And I also liked it for that reason, where it's like you get these characters who are like unique, they have their own weapons and such, but in the end, one strike does it. I'm like, well, that's kind of how it should be, really. I mean, if you get a pretty gruesome strike in there, they're not getting up.
Exactly, yeah. You could take out limbs so they can't like walk or they can't use their arm. Ed, have you ever played a game called Dive Kick?
Yes. Love that game. I've never been able to play it with somebody else. It's always been one player, but I've seen matches at like tournaments, and that game is intense.
Yes, so that is the ultimate like one hit kill. You play best of like 7 or 10, and it's just mind games. Like I can't.
Because every character's the same essentially, right? It's just they look differently.
Some people
have a dive button and a kick button. So you jump and you attack, and that's all you can do.
So it's either
there's
like
no directional.
I'm coming at you or whatever. Like there's no blocking, so it's like if you just land on somebody, you hit them. But some characters their angles are a little different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I do remember dabbling with it, because I ended up buying it because of the idea of like, this is like a fighting game anyone can play, because all, like you said, it's about mind games, not about button inputs.
That's got to be the next stream then. I'll get it on Steam and we'll play it here.
Oh mercy! I think that
all
number
of
breakdown is going to be a little closer together.
Oh my god!
Or to be more specific, I think it might actually spread a little bit further, because Rob would be like, look at this! What do you know? My shoes are all dirty with your blood from all the kicking I've been doing to your face. What is this?
That sounds like that's like my winning quote after I defeated my opponent. Look at my shoes; they're all dirty from the blood of your face.
You got any spray here? You got any cleaner?
You owe me new kicks.
My Sour Patch Kid sneakers are ruined.
That's pretty all I need.
Anybody got Dr. Scholl's?
Dr. Scholl's dive kicks. Dr. Scholl's dive kicks.
I'd rock them.
I'd rock them too, man.
9 out of 10 doctors approve. All of them are named Dr. Scholl.
All right, so my next track pick selection is from a game called Breakers, which I've actually never seen or played, but it's one of the earlier Neo Geo fighting game titles. Have you played Breakers, Pernell? You're like searching your memory here.
I'm almost positive I've played Breakers. That name is clicking like a stack of bricks. I'll tell you in a second.
So, unfortunately, it's not a game about breakdancers fighting in the streets, but it is about martial artists fighting in the streets, which is fine too, I guess. This is a Show's theme, SHO, composed by Kenichi Kamiyo for the Neo Geo. Listening to Breaker's Revenge. This is Breaker's Revenge. We believe it's for the Neo Geo's CD version, possibly. Composed by Kenichi Kamiyo. This is Show's theme. It's real short. It's really triumphant. It's most triumphant.
Excellent.
It's most excellent. No, I love that the middle section, where it's like the arpeggiated like keyboard or something. Where like it reminds me of Buckaroo Banzai in the 8th Dimension.
It honestly reminds me of a stadium soccer match starting up.
Yes.
It reminds me a lot of a train. I guess
a train.
It has like the train whistles and then like a very kind of staccato beat there.
We all have 3 very wildly different.
So maybe it's a soccer team on a train watching Buckaroo Banzai on a small 1990s television set.
Practicing how they're going to walk onto the field when they get to the game.
Yeah, they're all talking to each other like, hey, yo, dude, like when I walk out, I'm going to walk out like this. And when they walk out, they're going to be like, meh.
The one guy does a running jump kick or something.
So just some nerdy technical information about the music. I just read it. So the later Neo Geo games, instead of using the sound chip for the FM and like the sample-based stuff, like the Super Nintendo style music, it was also able to stream like really low-quality PCM samples. Like one long sample was the entire song. So this game used one long sample for the soundtrack, but then there was an updated CD quality version for the Neo Geo CD.
Okay, so this sounds like the low-quality streamed audio for sure.
Yeah. So if you find the Neo Geo CD version, it's going to be the same thing, but it's going to sound a lot better and it'll be in stereo.
Oh, okay. And that also makes sense why it's so much shorter as well.
Yeah,
and sounds like it's being pushed out of a Game Boy Advance.
Basically, it was.
I'm always got to take shots at the Game Boy Advance on the show.
I don't know why. I love the Game Boy Advance in every way. The music, superb. The graphics, impeccable.
If you love the Neo Geo so much, why don't you just leave then? Why don't you just leave with the Neo Geo?
Because I can. I have an ankle bracelet that prohibits me from going with it.
Because I'm in a relationship with my Nintendo Switch.
Actually, that's not a lie. I play that thing to death.
There's a lot of Neo Geo on the Nintendo Switch, though, so it's the best of both worlds.
Right, yeah.
That is true. That system has pretty much been... I honestly wish there was like some collections that would just drop in physical form just for retaining it all, because there are so many like retro games just dropping on that thing. It is a portable arcade in and of itself.
I'm going through an entire season of Baseball Stars 2 on my Switch right now, and it's the best. best baseball game ever made.
I like video baseball games. I don't like real baseball. There's a lot of sports I don't like, but I like video sports.
Same here. Golf, baseball. Like baseball was bases loaded. Golf was originally Power Golf on the TurboGrafx, and then eventually games like Mario Golf. Tennis. I came to like both eventually, but it started with Virtua Tennis.
Oh, Virtua Tennis was a blast. Virtua Tennis was the first tennis game that really like got me and my friends like playing that game competitively, just like for fun, just for funzos.
Yet somehow basketball and football never clicked in any form.
Never got into Tecmo.
No, I played Tecmo Bowl. I hated it, but I played it because my family played it.
Not even the John Elway's quarterback.
Like there was that sketch of Family Guy they did years ago where I can't remember which character. I want to say it was like Quagmire probably. He was like just like running, like just beating the tar out of Peter with like Bo Jackson, just running touchdowns.
yeah.
I don't know if it was exactly Bo Jackson back then, but I can tell you that is the exact experience I had with my brother.
Yeah.
And I hated it. I hated it so much. Throw a pass. Interception. Not again. It's not fair.
That's like for people who know sports, like that was their Konami code. You know, it's like I know this one sports thing that you don't, so I can beat you at Nintendo. You know, and I was like,
double dribble was just the sweet spot for 3-point shots. That just kind of ruined that game for me with my brother. But yeah, like I would definitely say tennis, golf. There's no lacrosse game. Surprisingly, no lacrosse game.
no.
That's true. There's no lacrosse. Are there cricket games?
We need some more. We need some cricket games in the States. I'd try that. And soccer, of course. Nintendo World Cup is what brought me into the soccer fold. And then I tried FIFA 96 on the Nintendo 64. It didn't quite hold the mustard because it needed music in the game. And since it didn't have music when you played, I quickly put it down.
I always like in the UK or Europe they have the Sensible series, Sensible Soccer.
Sensible
Oh,
Soccer.
yeah.
I love that title so much.
They actually released one of those on the 360 in the States.
Really?
Uh-huh. It's a weird little game, but it was definitely fun and playable for
It was
very
actually
cheap.
it was the name of the developer, Sensible Software, which is where the name came from.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think that's a sensible way to name their software.
Absolutely.
Sensational.
Well, sensible Purnell. What's your next track?
Well, I'm going to pick a track that I do know the name of, but I'm still going to look it up to make sure I got it right. This is from the game Applejacks Incorporated. No, it's not. It's actually from King of Fighters 2002. This is the
very good
theme
version.
to Kula Diamond, named Diamond Dust by the SNK sound team. And from what I could gather, the component most responsible was Masahiko Hataya. I drove aggressively last night and now I'm gonna pay the price.
Engine light. I have seen this light before.
Go to the shop, going to pay a mechanic. He's gonna overcharge me because he knows I'm on Xanax. Oh, the car's off.
when they told me I needed that oil change.
That's good. That's good. We should if you have to talk about some kind of weird love affair between you and the mechanic, and then every other lyric needs to be like fire, burning,
Fiery passion in the parking lot.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So this is from the game King of Fighters 2002, titled Diamond Dust, the theme of Kula Diamond from the game I just mentioned earlier, so I'm not saying it again. Composed by the SNK sound team.
Not cool, Pernell.
Well, I mean, 3 times. 3 times. Masahiko Hataya being the primary contributor for it. So it's funny you mentioned Frozen earlier, because the reason why I picked this track is because Kula Diamond is another character that I saw in motion while at a friend's house while they were doing round robins, and I was like, that's the character I'm using in this game.
Oh.
It was Kula Diamond. She is basically she's Frozen before Elsa, which is funny because Elsa's based on the Snow Queen, so she's before all of them, but that's irrelevant. The point is, Kula Diamond is awesome. She's one of those typical lab experiment characters that you have in a lot of fighting games, and she has the power of controlling and manipulating ice, which she uses to generate ice skates on her feet to skate around the ring, which was why I liked her in the first place.
And she wears real cool raver pants.
Better believe it.
Yeah.
Kula Diamond doesn't mess around, man.
She is a
throws
hot
down.
topic frequent flyer.
Yes, I think so.
She's a shopaholic.
Definitely has that early 2000s look to it. Although this music is very like 90s Eurobeat, which I am enjoying very much.
For some reason, I looked at it. It sounded like a Mega Man X4 ice stage.
Oh, okay, yeah. And actually, Ed, you were saying that the Neo Geo Pocket one had kind of like a Mega Man edge to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it's that sound chip too, but you can definitely feel that one here too.
I like it a lot.
So I do want to ask now, because on both of my, technically Ed did start with a situation, but just in case anyway, who would you say happened to be your favorite or preferred SNK fighter characters?
I can go first if you'd like, Rob. All you think?
Well, yeah, I think I'm going to need some time.
Need some time.
Yori Yagami has always been my favorite. He's always been kind of the yin to Kyo's yang. He's like, the Ken, I guess, of the King of Fighters series. And he just always looked so cool. He's got like the red hair and the pants with like the buckle that like goes between his knees for some bizarre reason. I think that was like a fashion thing in Japan at the time. But
no, I think it was anyway, I always thought that was like a bondage thing, but that's fine.
I had a friend that cosplayed as him, and I didn't know who the character was at the time, so I was very confused.
But something. I mean, I was a goth kid back then, so it just kind of gelled with me very well. And he's got some great moves. I always like playing as him, and he's just really been like pumped up and enhanced as the King of Fighters series has gone on. So he's remained my main in King of Fighters since like probably '95, I think, when he debuted.
Didn't he have a move that was sort of on par with that one character from Street Fighter, Akuma, where he does like whatever that move is, where he kind of rushes the guy, the screen goes white, and he kills him? I think I remember Yori doing like a thing with his nails, like,
he just slashes away at him.
Yeah, he jumps on top of him and he's like, wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I would think I was really introduced to the King of Fighters characters like more so when I started playing Capcom versus SNK. I think Kyo was probably my main go-to. But other than that, I think Athena was my favorite.
Well, I would say my main Goku was, Super Saiyan level 3.
Oh, I see what you did. Actually, in a lot of the King of Fighters games, that you could power up their super moves not by attacking or by blocking, but by holding down 2 buttons, and they power up like in Dragon Ball.
Oh, nice!
Which is really cool. And there's one of the grooves that you could do in Capcom SNK. Yeah. So was this lady your fave?
Yeah, she was my character in this particular game, and I would say across the board too, because I pretty much used this character. I used Blue Mary back in the day.
Yeah, she was cool.
It kind of just ran with my tradition of pick the fast, the woman character, and just like make people angry. Because back in the early days of arcade fighters, when kids were definitely being kids, for some reason, people would get really mad when you beat them with the girl character. They get really upset.
Yeah, that's right.
So if I'm already not good at fighters and I win with the girl character, I'm like, that's double bragging, right, suckers? Deal with it.
I remember when I first learned that Ralph and whoever it was were from Akari Warriors. So they were from another SNK property. And Athena was also she was from her own game.
Yeah, and that game, as much as I played it, I will acknowledge it was terrible.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't like that. The Nintendo port wasn't good either, right?
That's the one I played. It was the Nintendo port.
Yeah.
It was
that's all I know about it. But I remember hearing like, oh, that's right, Athena was from another game.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say in Samurai Shodown, I rocked Nakaruru.
Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Nakaruru.
She was good. She was fast.
Yeah, she was real quick.
She
I liked her.
Fly around the screen and stuff.
She had like the hawk and all that.
Yep.
That's
World
right.
Heroes, I used Charlotte.
Now, World Heroes never crossed over with King of Fighters, did it? I don't think they did.
No,
It's
they were
too
because it was a
strange.
very different kind of fighter,
Yeah.
and I think it was a completely different design team too. So
We-
I don't
we
think
should-
they ever.
I think a World Heroes.
Oh, crap. We're going to have a guest show with Ed in 1 minute. Better hurry up.
I was like, uh-oh, I thought that was like an alert, like a storm alert, like we had like a tornado or something.
There was a 1 minute warning to remind me that we have a thing with Ed tonight. Oh, my God.
Oh, no. All right, so we're going to turn this track down, and we're going to get into the part of the show that we call the bonus round.
Bonus round. And also, I have to take a break.
The bonus round is the part of the show where we play covers and remixes and arrangements on our theme, and we are in luck because almost all of these SNK fighters had arranged albums released alongside of them. And not only that, but a lot of the music is well beloved by fans and other composers. So there's just so much to look at, so much to listen to, so much to choose from. I went into a completely different direction than we've been listening to for my bonus round. And Ed, I'm curious about yours. What did you find for us? Because you started to tell us about it at the beginning of the show, and then you held back because you're really excited about this one.
So this is a very, very different direction than most bonus round tracks you guys do. I found this CD randomly at an import game shop in Chinatown in New York City, and it said Neo Geo Guys Song Collection CD, and it just piqued my interest. You know, there are pictures of the different, like, you know, guy characters from the Neo Geo fighters all over the front, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. I'll pick this up. I don't remember how much it cost, but I'll bring it home. And it had some really interesting stuff on it, and basically it is collections of songs. So the voice actors that play the characters in the game, like, so when Terry Bogard shouts like, burn knuckle and all of his special moves, these are the actors that voice the characters in the game, singing and talking to each other and all this cool stuff. So you get like more character background from the actual voice actors from the characters.
Oh.
Burning knuckles.
Yeah, I had an arranged album of Initial D, going back to Eurobeat, where like the voice actors of the game would sing some of the music from the show, and I mean, they were not great singers, but like, you know, for fans of the show, it was like, oh wow, cool, you know, it was more thematic. So okay, I'm excited about this one.
So this is a track called Dance de Peace, and it's originally from the Garou Densetsu The Best CD, but I got it from the Neo Geo Guys Song Collection CD, and it is a party rap song rapped by
Party rap.
King of Fighters fighters, including
God.
Terry Bogard, Mai Shiranui, Blue Mary, Ryuji Yamazaki, Duck King, and Li Zhangfei. So Duck King is like the MC at the beginning. He calls to people and like they respond, and he shouts their names, and like they shout back with their fighting move, like poses and stuff.
Oh my God.
It's such a cool song. I can't wait for you guys to hear it.
Boy, Terry Burger, Bone Knuckles name. Going to play with Blue Mary. Going to make me some champagne.
I mean, basically in Japanese, that's kind of what we're talking about here.
I cannot wait, because again, before we started talking, like we were like talking about parents just don't understand, and I pulled up Will Smith. All right, here we go. This
Clean
is
rap.
Dance to Peace.
The King, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, both Jay and Onita. Now, I'll try to present the one and only, the super duper, the Garou Densetsu All-Star. Okay, here we go. Yo! Everybody! Yeah! Steady! Okay! Are you ready? Yeah! Money! Hi! Let's party! Yeah! Party, 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 yeah! Yo! Ho! Everybody! Yeah! Oh, people wonder, oh! Wait out! There we come! Hasta no koto! Finish the doors to get down! Everybody! Kokoro mo karata mo ugukashi happy! Come out! Check this out! Oirari omakase dance the beat! Hey, come on! Okay! 好きなことじゃんじゃん Let's party! Blue sky 広い世界愉快限界オーバーヒーロー界ゼロから全部真剣勝負で大丈夫ブンブン飛ばす The big up Good chance 思ったら実行迷ったらワンツーステップステップ
はーいベイビーハッピーって感じ分かってる だって最強そういう心境信じてるよ前々言葉じゃないでもビートじゃないコーハートじゃいられない胸キュンバキュン最上級熱くなれるのダンスだけ
Yo! Everybody! Mine! Everybody! Shake your body, wake up! Shake your body, wake up! おいこら踊ってんのかちゃんと踊ってんのかと聞いてんだよこのアマチュアがおいてめえだよてめえのことが俺を無視するなんざ Yo! Everybody! Let's party! Let's party! 山崎山崎山崎分かったよ Oh yeah!
ねえちょっとご機嫌だね飲みね食いね踊りねとことんファンキーなんとかラッキー元気でウキ危ないなドキドキちょっともうヒヤヒヤ者女だってちゃんとねって言われててね私してはいかじっと我慢はノーノーノーはーいまいちゃんですみんな踊ってるよーピカイチ昨日一にバイキ一から始める恋の道くよくよしてても全然ダメ乙女は笑顔で外そうよハメやっぱりダンスこの時こそダンスセンス広げてはいはいはい
Yo! Everybody! Mine! Everybody! Money! Everybody! Zombie! Yahoo! Yahoo! Shake your body, wake up! Shake your mind, wake up! Shake your body, wake up! Let's party! Shake, shake, dance the beat! かったりおいこれなんて終わりじゃねえのかよ大体俺に歌わせるんじゃねえ
歌ってないじゃん
マネーシャンペンシャンペンもうシャンペン Yeah! Shake your body, wake up! Shake your mind, wake up! Shake your body, wake up! Quack, 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 quack! Quack, 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 quack! Quack, quack, quack! Let's party, yeah, yeah! Shake, shake, dance the beat!
That is oh my god.
Everybody!
I had to stop that like 3 times. I was laughing so hard every time he said, "Hey,
Everybody!
everybody!"
My! You what? Everybody! Yeah!
Oh, Terry Bogard was so funny in that. I love that.
Now I want to hear that in
Everybody was
English.
How long have you had that?
I've had this CD since early 2000s, probably since around the time it came out.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And I wasn't, I thought it was going to be like arrangements of like real Neo Geo songs, and that's not what I got like when I started listening to it, so I was kind of disappointed and I put it on the shelf. And like probably 10 years later, I was like, oh, I remember this. I wonder what's on here. And I started listening and I was like, this is gold. This is absolute gold. I need to put this on a show somewhere. So
Yeah,
here it is.
yeah!
Well, thanks for sharing it with us, because this is the reason we do the bonus round.
Ed! What? Play that bonus! Yeah!
It's insane, absolutely insane.
So there's a webpage on the SNK fandom wiki that I think we should put in the show notes, and it's got the English translations and like who sings what.
Oh, great.
So yeah, people can click on that and they can get the lowdown of what what craziness went on during this track.
Yeah, I'm gonna need those English notes because I want to hear Terry say something like, "You think it smelled bad, but it's actually burning knuckles."
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'll like hopefully I'll get like translated lyrics on the site. That would be so good.
Yeah, it's got them. It's got them in Japanese and English. So.
Oh my god. Well, I gotta take the show into a completely different direction then. So, this is "Kiss Me," the theme of Blue Mary, arranged from Fatal Fury 3 arranged, composed by Yukifumi Makino, credited as Macky.
Hey! Whoa, Yukifumi! Yo! Play that track!
Yo,
Yamasaki.
Macky Mac. We'll call her Macky Mac. No, it's definitely not that style, but it's got some really, really nice piano, really, really cool chords. I hope you dig it. This is Kiss Me, the theme of Blue Mary arranged. All right, we're back. That was Kiss Me, theme of Blue Mary, arranged from Fatal Fury 3, arranged. That was composed and arranged by Yukifumi Makino, credited as Macky. And I noticed,
was this an official SNK release?
Yes, it was.
God, I love how like my first thought was like Macky and Pentel, which is a character from Twinkle Star Sprites, which is another SNK game.
That's right. Yeah, Twinkle Star Sprites was fun. You introduced me to that.
Yeah,
That was good.
my jam. You ever played that, Ed?
I have not.
Oh man, look into it. It's on the Switch too, so
Yeah,
it's
it's
accessible.
It is a shoot 'em up mixed with a puzzle game,
Mixed with a versus fighter.
a versus fighter.
That
Sort
hits
of.
all the right buttons for me.
Yeah,
so
it's
definitely gotta check that one out.
Super colorful and like really bright and cutesy. So it's a lot of fun.
Cool.
But no, yeah. So that was theme of Blue Mary, arranged. I really like arranged tracks that really go off into a completely different direction. And this one went off on like a weird like jazz jam for like 6 minutes.
It felt really improvised. Like it felt like it followed the theme of the original song, but I felt like it allowed them to really put their own personalities into it. The performers, it was really cool.
Yeah, I think the little drum solos here and there, it felt like a traditional jazz, like where everyone's sort of like looking at each other and then taking their turns and then going around. I like that a lot. So Pernell, I think you went similar on this one, huh?
I kind of did. So I ended up going with also some Blue Mary jams. Blue Mary Jam.
Blue Mary Jam.
This track in particular is Blue Mary Blues, full band rendition from the game King of Fighters 97, done by show regulars, the Consouls. I had to go with it, though, because it just sounded so great. Welcome back. You're listening to the Consouls play out to Blue Mary Blues from King of Fighters. 97, I want to say. I'm not looking at my notes, but Merry Christmas if I'm right. Merry not Christmas if I'm wrong. And they did...
it was 97.
Yeah, buddy.
There you go.
Too much Lollipop Chainsaw on the brain. Just threw me off a little bit. But the Consouls knocked it out of the park with this one. It definitely embodied the soul of which they are known for injecting into jams. I was happy to find it and was really glad to share it with you guys. So
The Consouls inject their groove into everything they do.
yes.
I love their bass player so much. Their upright bass player. So talented.
Yeah.
They're all really super talented.
And great production, too. I mean, that drum kit was fantastic
Yeah.
sounding. I just loved that. And it just, all the instruments just had their own space to play in, and they didn't crowd in on each other. It was just a great arrangement. So
Yeah.
superb.
I think a lot of that has to do with it. It's a limited scope. There's only 4 or 5 of them at a time.
Yeah.
Not trying to play over each other. But you're right though. It's for the fact they play live and the fact that they do their own recordings, that it's really well produced. You don't usually they not always get that level of quality, but the Consouls, you're in good hands.
Oh, yeah.
So for more information on the bonus round part of our show, go to rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to Bandcamps and SoundClouds and bios and everywhere where you can buy the music and support these great artists. Thanks for joining us on episode 20-10 of Rhythm and Pixels, our look at SNK fighting games with Ed Wilson from the VGMbassy.
That's me.
Thanks for joining us on our season closer of season 20, World 20?
World 20.
World 20.
Are there any video games that have more than 20 worlds at this? I don't think there are any. We may have eclipsed them all.
Yeah, we're better than them.
Take that, Mario.
Take that, Mario. Take that, Luigi. Take that, Waluigi and Wario and Wa Princess.
Toad.
Toadstool. Anyway, thanks, Ed.
Thank you, guys.
Oh,
I
man.
think.
This is
No,
a great...
it's always a load
yeah.
of fun to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
And especially playing awesome tracks like these. I mean, I was just grooving the whole night through, so such fun.
I concur, good sir. One of these I'm going to get my butt on the darn embassy and not be a freaking slouch about, because...
Yeah, I'm waiting for that that shoegaze episode, man. You guys
That's
are gonna
right,
do it.
yeah.
Yep, it needs to happen. I'm just like... I'm sitting there really trying to mull, like, what would be shoegaze gamey? I'm like, I don't know, like, I think I'm just putting too much pressure on it.
On
You
finding
know what?
the
Or if
right
it's or if
song.
it's too hard of a theme to come up with, we can think of something else. We can think of something easy just to like get together and hang out, because that's really the whole point of it, right?
I like the sound of that.
Yeah, the Purnell episode. I feel like it should be like the Purnell takeover of the VGMbassy, where you hold everybody hostage at the embassy.
I see, that could be pretty funny. You're going to play this track, and you're going to like it. Dude, why are you so aggressive? Why are you upset? I'm drinking lots of coffee. I'm very energized. But like, yeah, that would be fun. Just come on there and just like ramble, damble, and have a good time. And just talk good gaming music.
Exactly. That's the whole reason the VGMbassy exists, so I could get together with lots of different people to talk about really good VGM and the VGM that they are really into, which is awesome as well. So
For fun, one day we should do just like a LARF. You should try to draw a map
Draw the map.
of the different countries you've had on the show so far, like where they all are in approximation to where the VGMbassy is located. Like,
Yeah, is the
man.
VGMbassy more like is it like the Vatican? Are you guys like your own like sovereign entity?
yeah, kind of. I guess we're kind of like this little blob in the middle of the whole VGM community, and I just kind of like pull people in every once in a while.
like
with a
everyone's
giant
welcome
magnet.
here. Oh, that's exactly what the well, now that I'm here, let's talk shop.
You're not leaving until you play 12 songs for me.
Well, can you tell our listeners where they can find the show, where they can listen to the show, where they can find more about you, Ed Wilson?
Absolutely. So you can head over to thevgembassy.com, and there you can find all of the shows. There's also a link to our Discord channel at the top of the page. Discord is really where it's at as far as VGMbassy's social media. It seems to be where most of the people hang out. And you'll find VG ambassadors and listeners and Patreon people there, all having a good time sharing VGM and stuff. So hit us up there, or the VGMbassy on Twitter, or facebook.com/group/the VGMbassy on Facebook. And we're on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, all the usual places you can find your favorite VGM podcasts. But I did mention that I was going to tease something at the end of the show.
Yes, tease away. Tease
So,
us.
Let me
tease
tell
is
you.
so much of a tease as it is a reveal. So I'm getting together with Justin from XVGM Radio.
Ooh.
And we discovered that we both have a big fandom for like the darker music, like industrial and goth and EDM and all that stuff. So we're going to put together a podcast called The Arcane Machine. It's going to be a monthly podcast.
Nice.
It's like an introduction to the darker side of music. And we got a lot of cool tracks already picked out. We're going to have a website set up. So probably late December, early January, we might have our first episode coming out. So keep your eyes peeled.
But
for
that sounds painful, though. I don't know if I want to peel them. Can I just
Oh, it's dark, man.
wait?
It's gotta get real dark.
Can I just anticipate it? This peeling thing. I don't know.
No, this is dark, man. You gotta close your eyes.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Wow,
Exactly. You just got to
man.
feel around until you find something that's like spiky and
Do I hear
Cold.
gears churning? I think I do.
I close my eyes, all I see is the hamster on the wheel. Ed, you are a podcast powerhouse. I don't know what else to say, but you are just knocking it out of the park.
I try. Thank you very much. And happy 4th anniversary and 200th show to you guys.
Yeah.
It's funny, the last time I was here was the day after, or the show after your 3rd podcast anniversary.
Right,
and now
right.
here I am, a show after your 4th podcast anniversary.
Is that really
So-
what it was?
Yeah,
that's what the supernatural one.
Yeah, we tend to have guests like almost like the same, like every year. Like they come back like once a year.
I was joking that you guys could call me After Party Ed.
Yeah, someone's got to draw that garbage pail kid image.
After party. Yeah. Speaking of returning guests, one of our past guests, Mitchell Wong, they've just won an award for the soundtrack to the new game Kind, which was just released.
And which is
Awesome.
a great game, too.
Yeah, a great game, incredible music. So really, really well deserved. So yeah, congratulations,
adaptive.
Mitchell. Yeah, it's all adaptive. Like it's insane. It's insane. Like how it must have been like a puzzle, like piecing it all together. You know. So now we're really proud to have him on the show. So
Thanks, Mitchell.
Great work. Thank you, Mitchell. So if you want to get in contact with Rhythm and Pixels, Robin, Purnell, me, and you,
Apples and grapefruit.
send us an email. That's usually the best way to do it.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And for more information about our show, a full track listing from all of our episodes, and links to all the other fun stuff that we're getting up to, go to the website.
rhythmandpixels.com.
And then you can go to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. It's Rhythm and Pixels, all one word. A lot of the conversations happening in our Facebook group called Rhythm and Pixels Chat. And then a lot more conversations happening in the VGM podcast fans group in Facebook. So you look that up. Which is pretty. Were you gonna say something? I'm sorry.
No, you weren't. You're fine. I was thinking about the Discord too, though. I admit,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I want that to be. People should definitely join it, though. I outright admit and acknowledge that I'm more so the type of person that responds
Yes.
to Discord stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's easier to have dialogue on Facebook only because it works like a forum almost.
Right.
But
I
with that
like
said,
things
if-
I can come back to.
Yeah. But with that said, if you do join the Discord group and you decide to like post like a general, like an actual inquiry or like a statement that's like
Right.
cool info to share, I'll pop in eventually.
we'll-
What's that about?
We'll be there. Purnell probably first, but I'll be there lurking. Definitely lurking. But you can get links to our Discord on our website at rhythmandpixels.com. And you go to youtube.com/rhythmandpixels. We post our episodes there. And we also have a 24/7 radio stream of 8-bit and 16-bit classics and deep cuts. And if you'd like to support the show, you can just tell people about it.
Please tell people about it.
Tell people about it. That's all you
Give
gotta
it to
do.
them at Thanksgiving. Just put it on the plate.
You know-
Thanksgiving's over, but go back in time and put it on the plate and say, eat this great music
Or
Or
holidays,
else-
just wrap up a gift with a big piece of paper inside that says rhythmandpixels.com.
That's right. Yeah, it's a pictures of me and Pernell, like headshots. We'll give them to you signed.
Yes.
We'll sign them, and you can just give them to your family, or you join the police force, so you can get a squad car with one of those big megaphones on top and just drive around
Rhythm and Pixels.
Yeah, playing Daddy Mulk.
Perfect.
Another great.
Da-da-da-da-dee.
So that would be awesome. Or you can go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels, and you can support us there. There you get access to a monthly live stream of us recording an episode, which is going to be next week. Good for you.
Yeah, it should
Next
be.
week is good for Pernell. It's going to be this week. So
If it's not good for him, I'll show up.
yeah, if not, then you know,
still can show up.
you can still show up. we would appreciate it if you show up.
Well, I'm a Patreon now, so I can actually be in the chat. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's great. So you get access to that at patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. And we also like to thank everybody at the end of all of our shows. So we'd like to thank that Nick Walker, Mike Myers, Dan Loughton, Phantom Jest, Steve Miller, Autistic Gamer 89, Cameron Werma, Christopher Shenstrom, Bobby Arson of One Up Funk, Wicked Sephiroth, OK Impala, Kung Fu Carlito of the Heroes 3 podcast, Michael Bridgewater from the Forever Sound Version podcast, who just had a really good kart racing episode come out.
Yeah, he did. I
That's
listened
really
to
nice. Brian Pitt, Chris Murray.
Oh, worth stating, by the way, just
What's
to
up?
run back there.
Brian?
Michael Bridgewater.
Michael
So it was
Bridgewater.
a short episode, but it was a succinct quality episode.
Yes.
So if short episodes are what you need to put out content, I wholeheartedly approve. Keep
Yes.
doing that.
Yeah, do what feels right, like in bite-sized chunks, because we like it. We'll take it however we can get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Brian Pitt, Chris Murray, Bruce Irons of the Mad Gear, Ed Wilson of the VGMbassy,
Somebody stole my identity. What's going on?
Alexander Proudfoot, Davy Cakes, The Dude, The Last Weekend, Bedroth, Jupiter Jazz, Solus Sanctuary, Mix Six Master, Damian Beckles, Joe Vassallo, Chris Tienerson, Alex the Messenger, patron saint of all video game music podcasts, and David Smith. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support of the show. I mean, just seeing your names show up every month and every week that we do the show is just motivation for us to just keep doing this, to keep doing better, keep getting stronger,
Keep eating apples.
keep more apples in our system than
Yeah.
you would ever imagine.
So many. Bougie.
For
And
every
pink ladies.
for every $1 that's pledged to us, we eat another apple.
No, every 5. I can't eat that many apples.
Okay, we're taking it back. We're taking it back.
Yeah, I can't eat that many apples. I would die.
All right. Well, anyway,
The
thank you.
bathroom for hours.
It's FiberCon.
Come to FiberCon 2019. Anyway, thank you all very much for your continued support of the show. And this week we will have a live streamed episode where we were going to focus on thankful tracks, games that you're thankful for, music that you're thankful for, people that you're thankful for, positivity in music, positivity in our community.
Just be positive.
Be a good person.
That's positive thinking.
Yes. And that's it. So thanks everyone for listening. Thanks again to Ed for joining us this evening.
Thank you guys for having me.
And we'll see you next week. This is Rhythm and Pixels. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm exhausted.
Have a good evening and a safe holiday.
Yes, that has already happened.
That has already happened. Next holiday, whatever you want to do.
And remember, this might be an odd one, but it clicked for me, I think. So the internet is a rather rowdy place these days. News articles and websites that post information are usually riddled with a myriad cornucopia of comments, and you don't have to go far to be called any variety of weird and ridiculous bad names or just see stupid nonsense pop up in a feed. It might get you to that mental state where you're like, oh, everything's awful. I don't feel good about this, But what I've come to do, which seems to help, is I baseline everything at a central point. And I expect those kinds of comments to eventually pop up. Meaning that when I see them, I don't care because they're just kind of going to be there. However, when the good comments come up, the uplifting, positive dialogue that's actually happening, that gives me a charge, a boost. It makes me feel good to read these things. So it's almost like going from the baseline up and then eventually back down to base and not going from the base down
Yeah.
because awful people bring you there. Just drop them into the whatever they're going to do what they're going to do bucket and focus on the positive dialogue because that's what it's all about.
Accentuate the positive.
Yes, I like. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Here, here.